What is the worst reward you can get in Resident Evil? These games make you suffer. Zombies, puzzles, pursuers all the time. But here's the unspoken deal. You suffer, but in return, the game gives you something worth the suffering. Could be an infinite rocket launcher, or something that makes your next playthrough feel like sweet revenge. And then there are some rewards that when you finish a brutal challenge, the screen fades to black, dramatic music plays, and you'll ask yourself, what the hell is this? Don't forget to give a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And get ready because you're going to see the 10 most unfamous, useless and weirdest unlockable of all Resident Evil games. We're kicking things off with a reward that sounds genuinely cool on paper. One dangerous zombie. A special mode where Forest player roams the entire mansion, faster and stronger and more aggressive. A haunted house with one very personal threat hunting you down.
It's Forest! Oh my god!
Sounds intense, right? Kind of like a horror movie where the killer follows you room to room and you have to look around the corner. Yeah, about that. Forest is covered in grenades. If you, by any chance, proceed to do any damage to him, the grenades will detonate and it will be instant death for you. For some reason, they also made him really fast as a Crimson Head. And just to make sure you can't even be clever about it, defensive items don't work on him. No dagger, no stun weapons, no grenades of your own. So everything is useless for this one specific threat that is now everywhere in the mansion. And the best part, once you unlock this mode, you are unable to deactivate him for that specific save file. He'll run around for good unless you start a brand new save without any of the benefits of the New Game Plus. Your only way to deal with him is either running or tank through his bites. So what does this mode actually add to the experience? You spend the whole game doing something that you were already doing, avoiding zombies, except now there's one extra zombie you have to avoid forever with zero counterplay options. It doesn't change the strategy, it doesn't open up new ways to play, it's not a fun challenge. My man Forrest deserves better than becoming the world's most annoying zombie in Resident Evil universe. Thankfully, he doesn't appear again after you get the helmet key. If this one sounds really bad, wait and see the other 9. Resident Evil 7 is already a stressful game due to the constant pressure of being chased by Jack Baker in the Baker's house. And this one, this unlockable hurts in a very quiet, very specific way. If you find all Mr. Everywhere hidden in Resident Evil 7, which is already a huge task, you'll get to unlock the fabulous walking shoes. This item increases your movement speed, and that's it. That's the whole thing. You walk faster. Ethan Winters, a man who has been through unspeakable horrors in the Baker house, gets to jog slightly less slowly as his reward. Now, to be fair, movement speed isn't completely worthless. Getting from room to room a bit quicker is a small quality of life improvement in the game. Sure, fine. But here's the context. This is Resident Evil 7, a game where you can unlock stuff like the circular saw, infinite ammo, game-breaking items like the X-ray glasses. And on that same shelf of rewards for this game is as likely faster walking. And most importantly, it takes one slot away in your inventory system. Seriously, I don't remember a time that I ever used this item in any of my playthroughs. It feels like unlocking a new car in a racing game and finding out that it goes probably 1 mile per hour faster on the highway. Technically, it sounds like an upgrade. Unfortunately, it doesn't feel that way. Resident Evil Revelations has a lot of useless unlockables, specifically on the arcade mode. This game is freaking good, but its replayability is annoying. This Capcom era was really weird where this game came out, and there's one specific unlockable that is complete nonsense. Yep, I'm talking about the Infinite Rocket Launcher. Wait a moment, a bad Infinite Rocket Launcher? How can this be bad? Are you feeling okay? Are you going mental because you haven't got to 1,000 subscribers? I'm fine, I'm just alright. Let me cook. To unlock this thing, you need to beat Resident Evil Revelations on Infernal difficulty, which, in my personal ranking, is one of the hardest difficulties in the entire franchise. You know, that will be a good idea for a video, like, what are the hardest modes in Resident Evil franchise? Anyway, this mode has more enemies, stronger enemies showing up way earlier than they should. The Genesis scanner gives you like a 3% reward for scanning stuff, which means getting a herb from. It feels like winning the lottery. And then at the end, you face one of the most absurd, overtuned bosses in Resident Evil series. This fight in the Infernal difficulty is absolute bullshit, and I have zero regrets about that take. So you survive all of that, you unlock the rocket launcher, you pick it up, and you find out that only you can use it. Half of the game you play as Chris, Parker, and other members. These specific sections that the rocket launcher is not available for you are the hardest in the game. So you're looking at maybe a 50% usability on a weapon that took an unreasonable amount of suffering to earn. You cannot even use it in the raid mode. You have accomplished the hardest challenge the game has to offer you, and your reward is just getting an infinite rocket launcher that can only be used half the game. Let that sink in. You get it? Sink like Terra Grigia, the Queen Zenobia. Okay, let's get to the next one. The original Resident Evil 4 is known for its amazing unlockables, Mercenaries modes, Ashley's armor, among many of others. They make every playthrough feel better. After beating the game on normal, you get two options as well. Spend a million pesetas on an infinite rocket launcher, or you can also grab the Matilda, Leon's pistol from Resident Evil 2, which is genuinely a beautiful piece of fan service. The problem is that if you immediately start a fresh professional run, which is what every sane person does, unfortunately the gun is not available for you. The Matilda is not sold by the merchant unless you're playing on a New Game Plus save. And let's say you go into the New Game Plus and you finally get it. It's fine. It's fine in the way that Umbrella Corps, it's a fine game. Almost every other pistol in the game is a better option than this pistol. The Red 9, the Blacktail, the Punisher, all these pistols are way better than the Matilda. Your fully upgraded starting pistol beats it even. The Matilda also eats through your ammo like it has something to prove, but unfortunately it has nothing to show for it. It's a fashion weapon, it looks incredible on Leon RPD's outfit for the nostalgia's sake. But as a tool, you'll be better with any other pistol. It competes with nothing. Truly one of the most disappointing unlockables in Resident Evil 4. Of course, there could be no other on this top than another one of the Resident Evil Revelations. Revelations 2 plays with you, spend time unlocking cool weapons. Some of the best and most creative of all the series to enhance your replayability. You have Natalia's water pistol, the crossbow, a freaking katana. It's creative, fun, interesting weapon that took effort to unlock. And you know me guys, if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. The moment you equip any of these weapons and finish an episode, you'll get the following rank. Yep, a C, which stands for Capcom being cunt, not letting you use the special weapons to get a higher rank on every episode. Capcom, with all due respect, fuck!
It's awful!
If anything, using a crossbow against a zombie horde should give you bonus points for style, but no, you get penalized, and in case you thought you could dodge the punishment by switching to time or invisible enemy modes, surprise! You can't use them either, as they are disabled to prevent lowering your rank. Instead, you must rely on pre-assigned improved weapons. Honestly, the weapons are genuinely fun, but the punishment system makes zero sense. And if you thought that punishing you for using unlockable weapons is bad, wait to see the next one. End of Zoe in Resident Evil 7 is one of the best endgame contents Capcom has created for one of their games. Specifically, if you finish this DLC in the highest difficulty, which is Joe Must Die, it's the kind of experience that makes you question a little bit about your hobbies. Insta-kill slicers, crocodiles, the traps played so perfectly that you start to suspect that the level designer was personally trying to troll with you. But after all the struggle, your reward is the dual AMG gloves. The same fist Joe uses to cape Jack Baker's face during the finale. Very cool story moment, much less cool as an unlock. Because here's what happens if you bring the dual AMG into the time challenge modes. The time challenge modes offer you a lot of rewards, generally the best ones in the DLC. Infinite ammo, the spiritual machete. Unfortunately, when you start using these globes, the timer speeds up. The game literally penalizes you for using the same thing that it just gave you as a reward. That's like a restaurant giving you a complimentary dessert and then charging you an extra for the table space it takes up. Fuck no. For casual players, the globes are fun for exactly one use and then irrelevant. For completionists going after time rewards, they won't help you. At this moment, we are done with the unlockables that punish you, and now we will start with the unlockables that are completely useless. So keep watching. Beating Resident Evil Village in the Village of Shadows difficulty is genuinely a great achievement. The early areas fight is hell, Beneviento's house, Heisenberg. After surviving all that, you receive a pistol that fires rockets, which sounds insane until you see the stats. 500 damage, 3.7 seconds reload. In Village of Shadows difficulty, that is not enough to kill a basic enemy in one shot. And against Miranda, you won't even trigger a phase transition, she will not even notice you. Not only that, crafting ammo requires 2 herbs, 2 rusted scraps, and 1 metal scraps to produce only 5 rounds. The most dangerous difficulty in the game, and your reward asks you to spend half your herb supply in a pistol bullet. And this weapon will not count either for the trophy that requires you to kill 200 enemies with a pistol. The gun doesn't upgrade with the Duke. It has no special bonuses, it just sit there in your inventory looking confused about why it exists. And you wanna know something funny? This pistol actually existed. It's widely considered a failure in real life due to poor accuracy, low impact at close range, and slow acceleration. It might sound good, but its design in real life was impractical for actual combat, so the weapon went obsolete by the 1960s. Poor Ethan Winters never got a working rocket launcher, never got an alternate outfit, the man deserved better. Now we're getting into the truly special category of disappointment. Let's talk about one of the strangest unlockables in the franchise, the epilogue files in Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. They expand the story, show what happened to characters after Raccoon City, and include some artworks that adds like flavor to Resident Evil world. The problem is not what they are, it's what they ask from you. To unlock all of them, you need to beat the game up to 8 full playthroughs. And after all that, what do you actually get? Static images and short text entries. Not even a cinematic, not even a little bit of gameplay, just lore that you can read in a few minutes. Now to be fair, back in 1999, this concept made a bit more sense. The internet wasn't accessible and unlocking bonus contents inside the game had more value. But even then, asking players to replay the entire game 8 times for what essentially it's amounts of text files feels like excessive. There is no real payoff waiting at the end, no secret ending, no cinematic reward, nothing that justifies that time investment. And that's where it becomes frustrating, especially for completionists. It's more like a checklist obligation rather than something fun to do with the game. So that's why it's so high in this top. Your reward for finishing the game that many times is just a picture with text. Fucking hell, Capcom. The final puzzle in Resident Evil Requiem. This one is one of the hardest optional challenges in the game. The kind of puzzle that doesn't get solved by one person sitting alone at 2 AM in the morning. It gets solved by an entire community pooling resources, sharing theories, and collectively losing their minds over it for days. It's not an exaggeration, this thing had people working together to crack it. So you can imagine the anticipation, something this hard, this cryptic, requiring this level of community effort. Waiting for 115 bodies to drop, doing multiple playthroughs, flushing toilets. The reward must be absolutely incredible, right? A secret ending, a unique weapon, a cutscene that recontextualized the entire story, maybe some clues about the DLC. Nope, none of that. You get beautiful 20,000 completion points.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Which sound generous until you realize that by the time any normal human being solved this puzzle, you have already unlocked everything, bought everything, and have more points than they know what to do with. Those 20,000 points lands in your account like a gift card for a store that's already closed. No cutscene, no secret ending, no unique weapons, no acknowledgement beyond a quiet little congratulations message that has the energy of a participation certificate handed out at the bingo session at work ran by Human Resources. One of the hardest community challenges in recent Resident Evil history, rewarded with currency you don't need for a shop that you have already emptied. Resident Evil Requiem did a lot of great stuff, but unfortunately, this wasn't one of them. And that's why it takes number 2 in this top. And here it is, the pinnacle, the gold standard of why did I do this to myself, the ultimate insult to your time and effort. Resident Evil Code Veronica is one of the most difficult games in the series, with a lot of ways to soft lock your save files if you don't know what you're doing on your first playthrough, forcing you to repeat an entire playthrough if you mess things up. There's a special unlockable for the battle mode, which is called the linear launcher. First, you must beat the main game, unlock the specific battle mode, and then you have to get an A rank with all 5 characters. That will be Claire, Alternate Claire, Chris, Steve, and Wesker. A rank means finishing each scenario under a strict time limit. Claire with her explosive crossbow under 6 minutes, ending with Nosferatu. Alternate Claire with AK-47 under 8 minutes against the plain tyrant, who will absolutely launch you across the screen if you let him get close. Chris with the Magnum, the hardest one, under 6.5 minutes with Alexia phase 2 and phase 3 back to back. Oh my fucking god, what is this? Due to all of these scenarios, you earn an S tier weapon, infinite ammo, one-shot disintegration, first-person scope, genuinely one of the coolest guns in the franchise. And then you find out you can only use it in the battle mode. Not the main campaign, the battle mode. The same mode you spent hours grinding, and if you actually equip it here, no rank at the end of the run. Let me explain. This is like in Resident Evil 4 Remake. You have the Mercenaries mode, and that you need to get S+ rank with all the characters in all the scenarios to unlock the infinite rocket launcher for Mercenaries, right? But if you try to use that infinite rocket launcher in Mercenaries mode, you get no rank at the end of the run. I'm almost losing my mind trying to explain why this doesn't make any freaking sense. After so much effort, the game gives you a weapon that disqualifies you from the mode it's locked to, and doesn't let you use it in the mode where it will actually feel rewarding. It's locked in a box holding a sign that says "Do not use." Someone at Capcom made one decision and created the most pointlessly earned, least usable reward in the entire franchise. The linear launcher in Resident Evil Code Veronica takes the spot as the king of the hill of the most useless unlockable in all Resident Evil franchise. So there you have it. 10 unlockables that made you work for the privilege of being disappointed. Faster walk-ins, points you can't spend, guns locked in a mode that doesn't reward you if you use them in that specific mode, or a zombie designed purely just to ruin your day. To be fair, none of them are completely worthless. You can always use them for the fun of it, not always for achieving a rank, or not always to do the best playthrough, but compared to the cat ears and infinite rocket launcher that actually lets you use it and get you an A or S rank, they don't even come close. Do you guys agree? Did I miss something that deserves a spot on this list? Drop it in the comments below. And look at this, we're halfway there for 1,000 subscribers. You guys have shown so much love to this channel. You guys know I work a full-time job and put as much effort on each video. I do everything in this kitchen. The script, the video editing, the thumbnails, and always try to give you something you can enjoy while drinking a cold Pepsi. Once we get to the 1,000 subscribers, we'll get to monetize the channel and big things are coming. Bigger, better, more quality videos for all of you. So make sure to support the channel with a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.